Okay guys, good morning. Welcome again to this episode. In this lesson again, we are going to try design with Adobe Photoshop just like we did with Adobe Illustrator. So we had the chance in the previous video to explore Adobe Photoshop's interface. Today this is the chance to try ourselves with Adobe Photoshop. Throughout the exploration, we actually went through the tools and other things, and now this is the chance for us to see how we can use these tools to achieve something. So like we did with our Adobe Illustrator, we are going to do the drawing like we did on the paper, and from there I added two more things we could do. The first one is to try to edit a picture, and the third one is to try to create a banner. The reason why I made it this way is because Adobe Photoshop is multi-purpose software, which means it almost does the same things as Adobe Illustrator does. And in addition to that, you can do the photo editing, you can do the photo retouching, and you can also create banners and or images basically from scratch. So I want us to explore these three possibilities throughout this video. So without wasting too much time, let's get into it. So just start up your Adobe Photoshop by going to your Windows menu, type PH or Photoshop, and then you get it and get it started. So you will get what I have here. So we'll start by doing our drawing like we did the other time. We will not take too much time on it, so I'll just do something quickly with it. So the next thing we'll do is to create a new document, just like we did with Adobe Illustrator. So here I will choose any dimension. In my case, I will go in pixels, and I will choose some dimensions I prefer. So 12. I will take 10. Let me take 1024. I like this dimension. You understand why? So I'll go 1024 again, and then I create the document. So it's a square basically. So in here, this is where I will do my work. So I will zoom it so that I can get enough space in front of me to do my drawing. So let's go ahead and start with our stone. So for the stone, we are going to draw, and the drawing we use either the pencil or the brush. So in my case, I'm going to make use of the tool probably. So first of all, we'll check what these tools do. So I take the tool and I have the properties here, and where I can adjust how the tool will appear and how it will look like. Then here I have the colors. I can choose the color it will have when I'm drawing. So by the way, remember I am on the Essentials workspace. So if I click move to and then come back here, I'm on Essentials. So I did not retouch my workspace since the other time. So I am coming back to my tool. So I choose the brush, and then I can see the sizes of the brush and then the color to choose here. Right, so let's go ahead and try and see how it looks like. So I'm drawing. Oh, that looks so big, so it's not good for me. And also the color, I don't like it, so I'll go for some violet like this. Yes, I prefer this color. Then I will first of all adjust the size and the type of the pencil. So here you can see different types. So when I take this guy, you can see how it looks like. And when I take this guy, you can see how it looks like. So it means Photoshop gives us so many options when it comes to really drawing and painting. You have all the chances to do whatever you would like here. So what I will do first of all is to choose this type. I like it because it has a pointed mouth. So rounded point stiff. So if I use it, and I also reduce the size to, let me test it and see how it looks. I like that. I like that. So I like the 7 as size, and the mode. We will not worry about the mode. Actually, it is important when you are actually drawing on a picture. So how it blends with the background picture is this mode. So it is the mode that defines that the opacity should remain at 100%, and the flow should be 100% as well. We won't activate any other feature. So also you can see that these are not the only features, the only properties that can be applied to this brush right now. If you click on this tool, it will pop up the palette of the brush where you can activate more options here, and you can still choose the type here and continue. And so far you can see the type of line we'll get with the settings we just made right now. This is the type of line we can get. So I can still adjust it here. So stiffness, let me increase. so it makes this smoother. The spacing, if you reduce, because we'll see it in the next section of this course, where we talk of the different elements of design. So you can see a line is actually a set of dots. So the closer the dots, the more you feel you have a line. So this is what this does. So if you increase the spacing between the dots, you actually get a dotted line, and the spacing between the dots determines how smooth the line is. So I will reduce it to 0 to just 1%, which means we are just getting a full smooth line. So I have these settings done. I have my color set, and I can now start drawing. So I will return the palette and then start my drawing. The first thing we are going to do is to have our stone. So I will just do something as a stone, right? So, and then I will not shade it, so I'll just keep it like that, right? So this is our stone, something like that. And then I'll go ahead and make the table. I'm not doing the shading for now because I will do it on using a different thing, because I don't want to use the same brush and the same settings, because the brush gives us so many options to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to draw my cap. So I'll draw it. So I should probably draw the cap I have on my table here. So I'll do something like this. You see that the smaller the circle here, the better the cap. So, by the way, when you see so many people drawing online using this software, most of them actually are using different tools to do the drawing. They are not always using the mouse to do the drawing, because it is very difficult to do the drawing with the mouse. So they have some tools they call the Wacom, and it's like a tablet on which they do. And some also use the tablet, so like the Apple tablets. So I have my cap like that. So here we go. So I have my cap, and then the next thing is our table we made. So this table, we are going to make it simple too. So we'll keep it simple. All right. Okay, so we do this, then we do this, and we bring the other leg somewhere here. So I'm sure by now you've got used to this, and here we go. So we have our table, right? So I said I did not do the shading because I wanted to use a different settings for the brush. Remember when I brought out the brush options, the brush palette, let me use this, you could see that we have different forms of brushes. So I would like, instead of using the same brush to do the shading, use a different brush, something like this. So this will be used for the shadow. For example, you can see it gives me that fast way of doing the shadow. You see, it makes it really fast to have the shadow, right? So instead of me to just go and use the same brush and then be wasting too much time, I'll use something like that, you see, and make my shadow. It looks cool and easier. So I can even do one on the table, something like that. Not that nice, but I'll keep it like that though. Then also for the shading of the objects themselves, so I would also still use the brush, use a different brush, probably this, and increase the size a bit. And this is not that good, it's too big, so let me keep it like that and do this. Oh, this is not nice. Also because of the color too, so I definitely have to change the color here to make it look different. And also I would like to go for a different object, so let me still use this guy, or use this guy and see how it looks like. Okay, I think this is not bad. Then I will reduce the size a little bit. Now I'll go for a different color, a color that is a bit like black, and now I can just do this. So you see, I can shade it with this. So me giving it a different color for the shade is kind of makes it look different, and I don't know, I get some different effect. And I can reduce the opacity here, so this is the chance to get a different thing. So you can see, so you could see so far the possibilities you have with such thing, right? So I can reduce it, get my object like this. Now I can increase the opacity and get myself the pencil. Also the pencil, we have the same settings we can apply, so I'll keep it simple like that. And then the color, I'm going to choose something black, and then get the stone to tear. It's quite too big, so make it smaller. So obviously this would have been better if I used the same violet color. So you see, alright, so this would have been more harmonious if I use the violet. So I'll go back to the painting for my cap. So I'll still go with some gray color like this, and then the opacity, I'll reduce it because I don't want to really make the cap look ugly. So yeah, I get something like that. So actually looks like my cap. And then it doesn't look that much here, so I could do the same thing with no, I'm on the pencil, so with the table here, so get a color a little bit dark. I jumped, so let me redo it again. So here we go. We have some few objects here we made. So you could see basically here that with Photoshop you can achieve the same things you can achieve with Adobe Illustrator. So that's why you can see some people are fully Photoshop. Every single thing you do with Adobe Illustrator, they can redo it with Adobe Photoshop. So, and combining the two is good as well. It increases your power level. So that being done, let's move on to the next thing we could do with Adobe Photoshop. So let me create a new document this time around, and then I will still keep the same sizes, and that is where I am. Now here I'm bringing the picture, so we'll see how we can use pictures to work with Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to take this, my boy Kofi. So what I want us to do is to get rid of this background behind him, so this house behind him. And the other time we learned some selection tools, so we have many of them. We could use like the lasso, polygonal lasso tool. So if I use the lasso tool, what I want to do is to take out Kofi. So to take out Kofi, I will have to do this. This is again, so escape. So I'll have to select Kofi like this, step by step. So you can see I'm already cutting his dress, so I really have to be careful, take enough time to do that. You see, I really have to be careful so that I can get it right, and then once I come back, I'll select like this, and then I can get rid of Kofi. I can take it out. So that's one way. But the other way is you can see, so I'm going to Control D. So I'm going to cancel that selection. It wasn't good, so I have to take a new one. So I can do that with many of these tools and try which one is more suitable for this situation. So in my case, I would prefer to go with the quick selection tool or the magic wand, because it seems they might make it easier here, because I have so many pixels that are unified, that are of the same color. So what I mean is you can see some huge white background that can be selected at once with a magic wand or a quick selection tool. So that's why I prefer these two. So let me go ahead with a quick selection tool and click on it, drag, drag, drag. So you can see the quick selection tool actually went through the edges of Kofi's image, and I can still increase it so that it goes beyond and take every single area. And you can see here it stopped on this hood here, so I would like it to go beyond and even select the grid in addition. So it has selected every area behind Kofi. So the thing we could do right now is to delete that area. So we could just delete that particular area, and I'm pressing delete, is not deleting. So one thing we could do, there is a reason to that, and because I don't want us to talk about that matter, that's why I'm not really talking much. I'm not mentioning why. So what we can do is, I would rather like to take Kofi out instead of taking the background out. So I'll take Kofi out and then try to bring him back on a different document so that I will only have him. So this is what we are going to do. The selection now is on the background. I have selected the background. Instead, I was supposed to select Kofi only so that I can take Kofi. What I could do is to invert the selection, which means where you have selected, select the invert of it, which is the remaining space, the space you actually dodged. Select that space now. So we'll do right click on the selection somewhere and do select inverse. Now it selects Kofi instead of the background. And once Kofi is selected, I could go ahead and do edit, copy. So I've copied Kofi, and now I'll create a new document so that I can bring him there. This new document, you can see the sizes are proportional, or the sizes are only for the image I've copied in my clipboard. So Adobe Photoshop was able to detect that I've copied an image and the sizes of the image are so. So it suggests me to create a document of this size. So I'll not bother, I'll say just create for me. And now I can go to edit again and say paste. So I have Kofi brought here without the background. Nice, right? Now you can use this and bring in a different background. So I think we learned we could use the shape, for example, to bring the background, or we can use the gradient or the paint bucket. So let me try the paint bucket. Here we can see that we are not getting any background, so I will do something that I didn't want to do. So you can see I brought the background, so let me choose a different one. All right, so we get something sharp. We could style it. So still, you know, this, how I selected Kofi and other things, wasn't that sharp. We could make it, because if you zoom the picture, you could see that the edges are still having some whiting around. So that can be fixed. So in good lessons of selection, I will tell you that this can be fixed. You will need to do some things while you are selecting to make sure you get rid of these white spaces. Otherwise, if you print the picture as a big banner, you can see that people will see these edges on the banner, and this mistake you can see it in many advertisements in town if you look very well. All right, so we are done with this, and we'll move on to the next image, and we'll make another image to see how we can edit with Photoshop. So I'm going to do new, and this time around I will not use the clipboard. I will use this 1024, and then bring my image. So the next image is this one. So in this image, what I want us to do is to explore how we can enhance the beauty of an image. So once you bring an image like this in Photoshop, it is not accessible yet. So you can see there's a cross on it. So Photoshop is telling you, are you sure you want to accept this image? There's a tick on top here. Say yes. So commit to it. I accept it. And now it will release the image for you to access it. So don't mind that message. We'll come back to this point. We'll probably do it maybe now. So we take our selection tool. We have our image selected. So one thing I would like us to do is I will increase the image like this to fit in this canvas. I'll get it closer like this. Right, so it's just like a cropping, so something like that, and I have my image covering it. Now when you look at this image, when I took it, it looks nice on the phone though, but basically when you look at the leaves, it looks like they are dull. It's like the leaves are dying, you know, and the flowers are not really shiny. This can be enhanced with Photoshop. So that's what photo editing is all about. It's enhancing pictures and giving them high quality. So one thing we could do is to click on the image with our selection tool activated. You click on the image and the image gets highlighted like this. Then you go to the image menu, and this is the chance for us to explore the menus again. Then you go to adjustment, and in the adjustment you have many possibilities to adjust this picture. So you have the brightness and the contrast. For example, when I take it, I can enhance the brightness of the image, so you can see. So I'm adding up light on that image. So you remember, this is the lighting we spoke about when we were drawing. The light was actually natural, which is the sun itself. Now if I can decide to increase that to get more light on it, and now it looks like it was a very shiny day, and when I took the picture I could not control the sun and it was really shiny. Or reduce it to make it look like I took it in the evening, right? And so on and so forth. I can also play with the contrast. So it's, you see, it purifies it and increases the natural vibration of the image. It looks good, right? So you can do that and get your image clean as well. We can go back to the adjustment again and see much more possibilities of adjustment. So one particular adjustment I will use on this picture, because I already tried and this one worked well. So I'll take in vibrance. So the vibrance actually tries to increase the natural looking of an image. So I will increase the vibrance, and you can see it increases the color, the violet color of these flowers, and also makes the leaves look really lively. You know, they are lovely. So I'll increase it, and then get a very sharp image like this. This looks beautiful now. Now you have a beautiful image. If you want, I can bring the other image for us to compare the two, so you can see the difference. Check this out. You know, the old one looks like it's a dead plant, but the new one we made looks like a real living plant. This is beautiful with Photoshop. So now the third exercise I would like us to make is to create a banner. You know, Adobe Photoshop is not only for photo editing, it's not only for drawing, it's not only for painting. We can also make images like banners and, you know, posters and so on and so forth. So I would like us to give it a try a try and see how we can create a banner. So I'll still use my same dimensions, 1024. And then in this scenario, I will assume that we are given a task to make a banner for launchcourse.com for the launching of the new version of LaunchCourse. So the message is to have check out the new version of launchcourse.com, and then we'll have a title like launch, so make it look like big. So we'll do launching, so we'll make it launching, like a launching of a new book. So obviously you saw I took the text, the type 2, so I click on the type 2 before I start writing, and we have the properties that show up here. So the text is going to be check out. So my E is messing up, so check out the new version of LaunchCourse. So do not worry that the text is crossing. When you are writing your text, don't mind that. Later on you can fix it. So because I can move it like this, right? Or even decide to reduce the size and other things. So then after that, we'll also write the domain name with the logo. So we'll have launchcourse.com. So I'll make it www because I want people to know that it is a website. So we'll also bring the LaunchCourse logo here. Good. So we have the LaunchCourse logo. Let me reduce the size so that we can get space. So how can I make something, a banner, a nice banner with this? So the first thing I could try to do is to create a background color, give it some background color, and then work from there. So let me take the text tool and then reduce the size of this text to 10. It gets space. It comes in a bit. So one thing I could do too is to bring the type, the character panel. It gives me all the tools to set the text up to really style it very well. So one thing I could do here too is to check out the new version of LaunchCourse. So I'll take LaunchCourse to the next line like this. I could fix it later in case I need. Now I have all my text. So I will do this launching to look really good. So I'll forget the background color for now and do it maybe at the end. So this launching should be big. So I'll make it big. I will increase the size here. Make it 72 too big. So 30 something. Yes. So I'll get it 30 something because I want people to to be caught by this text launching. Then check out the new version of so. I will align it at the middle. So go to paragraph center and bring it here like that. Instead of just like this, I will make this new version, go to the next line and bring this one on the same line. So I'll check out the new version. So it should be the new version. So you can see this is how you reason when you are designing things like that. So check out the new version of Lance course. So the new version of Lance course is a whole sentence in this one. Then I have www.lancecourse.com. I'll get the logo somewhere like this. So just like that, right? Just to advertise the logo, just like that. And now I can look at the texting. I like the launching in this violet color. It's good. So this checkout is something, probably keep it black. So I'll go back to the character and make it black. But one thing you would have done is to go with the colors of the brand. So you can see the logo has red color as brand. So take it and try it. So we'll check out the new version of Lance course that harmonizes with the logo just close to it. And then the color here for the domain name, I can also keep it maybe the violet to attract the attention between the launching and then the www. So we go read launching of www.lancecourse.com, and then check out the new version of Lance course harmonizes with the icon to advertise the icon. So we are good with that. So we get something cool like that. Now the alignment, I would like to select all of them. So you click here somewhere like this and you drag like this. So it will take them all. Once you select, you can see there's more properties that popped up for this alignment. So I would like to align them vertically centered. So I'll take this guy. You see, so I wasn't able to align them very well. Now with these two, it aligned them very well vertically. So you could do the same thing for horizontal and other angles. So I have all my tools well aligned and we are good. So if you wanted your banner to just be like that, you are done. You can then now start posting it on Facebook, or you could enhance it by adding more background colors and so forth. So one thing I could do is to use something that we call the layers. I didn't want to mention it because we'll come back to it, but I'll just stick on the layers. If you don't see the layers panel, go to your windows and find it by saying layers here. It will pop up and show you. It actually shows the different elements that makes up this whole image. So I'll click on the layers here and then probably try to use the gradient tool. Make the settings for my gradient. You might not have this gradient because I installed them. So you could choose any default gradient you have on your PC right there. So I'll take a color close to the color of the brand, right? And then drag somewhere here and see what I get. I get some gradient, right? That's cool. So it actually applied that gradient on my background layer. So it's on my background. So that's why you can still see the text floating. Yes, I don't like this gradient because it's too violent. So I'll probably look for a different thing, something light, simple, because I want to be able to read my text. There are different ways of making this gradient, better ways of making the gradient. So you can see something like that and you get a nice image. So another way you could make a gradient is, if we now learn how to use layers, is to create a new layer. So you could do something gradient layer and now choose the gradient you like and customize it better. So choose the angle, how it floats and so on and so forth. So diamond reflection, so I can do it this way. Scale, reduce it, no, increase the scale, no, keep it 100%. So let me cancel this and redo it. So I will do something like that, gradient. And you could see, you could also add a pattern. So I like that. It's very shiny and really bright. So I'll do it. And now I'm good. Now I'll also reduce the opacity so that I can get to read my text. Going back, so it's mixed up with the other background. So we get something like that. Now you can see my launching seems not to be visible, so I could style it and increase or the size and do many other things. I could even change the color into white or it becomes more readable there, or something more violent. So I'll keep it as it was, and we are good to go. And you have something like that. You could add other effects, you could make it really more beautiful. So thank you very much for watching this video again, and this is your try on Adobe Photoshop. I hope you liked it. Give it a try and see you in the next video. Thank you.